All right, we're into lesson 35, book 3, beginning rock guitar. I'm just going to play through the riff first and then we'll talk more about it. It's called Seventh Chord Half Step Bend Riff. And if you want, you can play along with me, okay? All right, ready, go. There you go. So right now in our bending, we're just doing half step bends, which it's good to kind of start easy and then work your way up to whole step bends. Whole step bends will be the norm later on. More often, bending on guitar is whole step bends. Like okay. So, but right now, this riff is going to be very good for um, learning more precise bending and bending with different rhythms. Like, for example, you're going up and it's an immediate grace note bend. Then you're cutting it off with your pick. So you're learning to cut the bend off at the top of the bend. And then a very deliberate downward bend. And then a more continuous triplet. And that involves a grace note as well, but you're slurring up and down all together. It's on the page, you'll see a slur mark over the three notes, but it's a grace note going up and then a rhythmic bend going down. So it's 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That's the way where it is in the measure there. So, and notice the slur notations and also the bend. You're bending 7th fret, but the pitch you're bending to is the sound of the 8th fret, which is in parentheses. Remember how I notate bends. It's more like the Steve Vai method that I remember from way back. But anyway, the rhythm, let's talk about first. Grace notes are immediate, so we don't even count them in the rhythm. But you're doing basically a triplet count, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. And it's a fairly simple rhythm, but with the grace notes and all the slur markings, it can look a little more complex. So you want to study that and ask questions if you don't understand anything about the notation in the book here. So another thing to talk about is you've got a 4th string riff, and then later on a 3rd string riff, moving it across the street. And there's alternate fingerings for both of those, in that Well, let me just go through the fingerings a little bit. You're starting with the third finger on the fourth string, hammering 1 to 2, and then bending up immediately, cutting off with the pick, and then you're down bending to 7, and then hitting 5 7 7. When you go 5 7 7, you're using first and third finger. You don't want to jump the third finger over to the fourth string. You want to just reach for it with the second finger. So that's an alternate fingering. Normally we use third finger on that 7th fret. See? Third finger to second finger. And then I continue with the same hammer, but to get there I have to stretch because I've got my second finger on the 7th fret. So I'm stretching out my first finger, connecting to that string. And because this measure ends on the 5th fret with the first finger, I can start the next measure with the third finger. So it's an alternate thing. You're doing sometimes third finger on the 7th fret, sometimes second finger. And when you do second finger, sometimes you have to stretch, to continue with the riff. Yeah, hopefully that's not too confusing, but just study it and go over it meticulously. Now, when you go to the, after you do the fourth string riff twice, then you go to the third string with the third finger, hammer second and third fingers. Now you're ending that measure on fret 7 with your third finger. Go to the second finger, but now you're going to do the hammer with first and second instead of second and third. When you started with the third finger, you hammered second to third fingers. Here we're starting with the second finger, hammering first to second fingers. Then you have to do that stretch, that reach. Okay? So it is a bit tricky, some of the fingerings. Now when you go up to the 9th fret of the third string, it's third finger. And it's abbreviated riff. And then reach with your second finger, and then hammer with 1 and 2. And then third finger on the first string to second finger on the fourth string. Second finger. And then you do, and I usually just play I could let them ring together like that, but I don't usually. And then I hold on to that pinky and make the rest of the chord and then strum the chord. Okay? All right? So hopefully this isn't too confusing, but just realize that you have to have flexibility in your choice of fingers to connect the sound. So to connect from 7th fret to the 7th fret of the 4th string, 2nd string to 4th string, much better to use 2 different fingers. And you just use the logical fingering that works and connects the sounds, okay? So I think we've talked about it as much as we need to. I'll play it one more time, and this time I'll play it really slowly. And if you don't need the slow part of the video, you can just stop the video right now. But and don't forget to like and subscribe. Look for John Hedger Guitar Studio on Facebook and Instagram. But I'm just going to go out playing this slowly. So it's like 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Cut, downward bend, second finger. second finger, third finger, cut, downward bend, second finger, hammer with 1 and 2, third finger, second finger, third finger on the 9th fret, second finger on the 7th, hammer 1 and 2, cut, second finger on the 4th string, second finger on the 4th string, ending, okay? So enjoy that. We'll see you in the next one. All right.